Fine. So yeah. So even before these concepts also we have been seeing class and objects. Yes or no? So we all have some idea on what is a class, what is an object. So class is what? Basically the blueprint, right? So whatever methods we have, whatever attributes we have, all of them will be together packed inside a class. And we know in Java, without a class, no other or any execution is not possible. Whatever we write, whatever program we write, it should be inside a class or it must be inside a class. Something outside the class is not possible. Yes or no? Class మీకు అసలు లేదు అంటే where do you declare the main method? And without the main method, how will the execution start? Yes or no? So whatever we write in Java presents inside the class. Okay. So to invoke that class, we have to create an object. But without knowing these OOPS concepts earlier, before this, we have never created an object for a class. We have created objects for other classes like scanner class. Okay, because we were using it to read the input from the user. But మీరు క్రియేట్ చేసిన క్లాస్ కి ఏదైతే ఉందో, have you ever created an object? No. ఎందుకు? Whatever you have written, మీ codes ఏవైనా, everything was inside main method only. Nothing was outside main method and it just inside class. Yes or no? So దానికి మీకు main method లో ఉన్నప్పుడు you don't need to create an object. Yes or no? Which attributes or which methods will be invoked by an object? Like class variables, class methods, whatever it is. For suppose I have a class called oops practice. Okay. Inside this, I'll write public static void main string args. Okay. Whatever code I write, I'll write inside main method only. Yes. If I declare an integer, say int num, this is inside main method. So if I want to assign some value, I'll just do num is equals to 34 or something like this. Okay. If I want to print it, I'll do system.out.println of num. Antena. So you don't need any object to access these kind of variables. If suppose here outside main method, I have created some integer called say class num. What are these variables called? These are known as class variables. Yes or no? Why? Because they exist outside the main method, but inside the class. E kind of variables, whatever they are, how do you access them? Can I access them directly here? Can I print that? Because it is not inside my main method. I can't access it directly. Now I have to create an object for my class. How do I create that object? As oops practice, okay, OP is equals to new oops practice. Okay, till here I'll do. But if I want to initiate that value, what will I do? I have to create a constructor for it. Yes or no? So how do I create the constructor? The constructor is nothing but a method with the same name as the class. Okay, so constructor is also a method. We know what are methods. Methods are nothing but functions, you can call them also. So functions ki generally what will be there? A name, separate name should be declared for a function. But constructor is a predefined method or an inbuilt method, you can say, whose name is same as the class name. Okay, and constructor will not return anything. Nothing is returned from the constructor. Okay, not even void. Void is also kind of return statement, and that means it returns nothing, we'll say. Okay, returning nothing is something as void. Returning int means we'll take int as a return type. If it returns string, string. If it returns float, float. But constructor, it will not even have that part in its method declaration. So you don't have either void, either string or float, whatever it is. It's just the part that is used to initialize some values. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay, so what value I have to initialize here? That is class num. Okay, so how do I initialize it? I'll just create a constructor. So constructor must always be public because it is accessed from outside the class. Yes or no? So public oops practice. Okay, in this what am I initiating? I'm initiating an integer. So I'll take int class num, or okay, let's take it in the this format because this is the naming convention, right? Class num. Okay, now inside this what I do, this dot class num is equals to class num. Okay, this is known as a constructor of a class. So when do generally methods eppudu execute authe? When will a method gets executed? Or a function, when will the function gets executed? Normally, you have heard about functions topic, no? Normally function eppudu execute authundi? When will it get executed? Whenever you call that function. If you don't call it, it will not get executed, yes or no? Except main method, no other function will get executed until unless it is called. That is a basic principle we know about the functions. Main method tappa other methods kuda they'll not get executed until unless called. Main method you don't call separately because JVM takes care of it. That is where the key execution starts. So you don't call main method, but other than main method, if any other method has to be executed, a call must be given. But that privilege is also given to constructor just as main method. Even constructor is not called by the user. It is called, but not by the user externally, but by the object. Whenever you create an object for a class like this itself will invoke the constructor. As soon as you create an object, what will happen? Our cursor will go to this point. It will search if a constructor is present or not. If it is not present, what will happen? It will actually invoke the default constructor. If I don't declare any constructor inside my class, for suppose, there is a default constructor in the superclass. What is superclass for all the classes? It is object. చూసాం కదా మనం already hierarchyలో object is superclass for everything. So in object there is a constructor for every, whenever you create a class, no, as soon as you create a class, an inbuilt constructor is created there. It is a non-parameterized constructor. Why? Default, no, nothing is there in it, no other initializations is there in it. Just it is a default constructor. If suppose I don't create any constructor for a class, there is a default constructor that is non-parameterized one present inside my superclass. Whenever I create a constructor in my class, as soon as I create a constructor in my class, my reference to my default constructor will go away. Okay, ఇప్పుడు నుంచి నాకు ఇంకా నా default constructor తో సంబంధం లేదు. I lose the connection with it. From now on, I'll have only connection with the constructors inside my class. That's why if you want to invoke a non-parameterized constructor, you have to create it here. Okay. If you don't create any constructor, then default is there. But if whenever you create at least one constructor, automatically the link is gone. And here, whatever constructors are present, that will only get invoked. So this is a single parameter constructor. If suppose I want a non-parameterized one, I should create here. Don't think that, okay, already we have default, no, why to create? But that default is not present now. Okay, so you have to create the other one. If you create or don't create, it doesn't matter because non-parameterized, so you don't have any work, no? What will non-parameterized constructor do? It doesn't do anything. Just for knowing that a constructor gets invoked when an object is created, you will have to create it. Ante. Otherwise, no need to create. So we don't have any use with it, so I don't create it. Here, what is the use for me? Only with the parameterized constructor. So what is my parameter now? It's an integer. So I have to send integer here for example, say 56. Okay. So as soon as I create the object, what will happen? This will go and hit my constructor, and then it will populate my this object with this integer. Okay, so this is a keyword or an object, you can say. It refers to the current calling object. If suppose here I have one object, for suppose I'm creating another object of the same type, okay, for the same class. For this, I'll take OP2. Here I'll initiate it with some 26 or something like this. Okay. So whenever I call this object first, OP1 first, my this refers to that object at that point. Okay. In this object, OP1's values will be there. Whenever I create OP2, what will happen? Whenever the constructor is invoked, now in this, which object is there? I have called constructor with OP2. Now in this, which object will be there? It will be OP2. So whatever object is calling that constructor, that this object will belong to that calling one. Okay, because here I'm not mentioning this dot OP1, this dot OP2. I'm not saying anything that way. How will it know from which object the value is coming? It will see which object is calling it. నేను పిలుస్తున్నాను కాబట్టి that will belong to me now. If some other person is calling, it will belong to them. You know this bidding, no? Like Velam Patte telusu kada, they'll sell some auction things there. So they'll keep on doing like if it raises the 40,000 or something. So they'll repeat it for 3 times. If it is more than it, then it will go to them. Okay. So whoever is calling it, it will go to them. The same way, which object is calling that constructor, that this belongs to that object. Okay. Now what I'll do, I will just, so here I don't have anything to print it. Yes or no? So what should I do? I should take a separate method, either that will return the value or that will print the value. Why? Because this int is part of my class. Or there is one more method to access my class variables or class methods. How was it? Class lo oka variable ni kani method ni kani, if I want to access, how will I do? How will I call a method generally inside a class? I have some method called display details like yesterday. How did I call display details? Display details declaration అడగట్లేదు. ఆ method ni, how did I call that method? With the object only, no? That means with the name of the object dot the method name, or with the name of the object dot variable name, whatever inside class. So what I can do now in the same way, I can call my variable with op1 dot class num. Calling a method, calling a variable is same. Whatever things are present in my inside my class can be accessed through the object, until unless they are private or any other things. You can obviously access them with your object. That is what object is created for, the instance of that class. With that instance, you can access everything inside the class. So whatever I have a class num integer, I can access it. If suppose I have one more thing like something like string name, I can access the same with the object, just like op1 dot string name. So whatever values I have inside my class, I can obviously access them with the object. So the same thing I'll do for second object also. Okay, now let's just run this and see. Oh, did I not? Oh, wait. Okay, that's why we got the same value. Okay. See, 56 and 26. So how am I accessing the objects in my class? I mean, variables in my class through object. The same way I can access the methods also through object. So for suppose I have taken a method like public void, Acre 34 and it got printed, no? I didn't show you. I was talking about the objects. That's it. Okay. Maybe I'll just pull it up a little. Okay. It got printed. So if now I'm creating a method. We have seen how to access variables. So method also the same way we'll access, no? So let's print some method called public void display. Okay. So in display, I don't have anything to display. I don't have anything to send to that method. So I'll just take void as the return type. In this method, I'm just printing, okay? Print ln of the same thing which I have printed outside the class, I'll do inside the, outside the method. Okay, I'll do inside this also. So what I'll do, print ln of, here I can just access class num. I don't need to put any object name in front of it, yes or no? Because this variable is part of this class only, na? So I don't need any object to access it. As long as I am present inside this, I can access directly. But when I am going inside a different method or a different class, I have to create object and access it. Okay. So now here I'm printing class num. So what I should get? Now I should get class num printed twice because I have it outside also, I have it inside also. So let's just check. Okay. Do you think it will get printed? Why? Object creation ayindi, but I didn't call the method only. I have created the method. But where did I call the method? I didn't. How should I call the method? So what is the object for me? What is the object? OP1. So OP1 dot display. Okay. If I want to call it with object 2, OP2 dot display. Here. So I am printing it either directly by using object name dot the variable name, or I have created a separate method to print it and I'm calling that method with object name dot the method name. Okay, both are same. So if I print it or if I execute it, I should get the output twice for both. Okay. See, 56, 26. This has come for the first set system dot out dot println op1 dot class num op2 dot class num, and this 56, 26 has come for the method I have called. Clear? So this is how I create objects and I call the methods inside my class. Till here, I haven't touched any of the concepts yet. Without knowing it, of course, we can't understand OOPS concepts. Okay, this is clear, no? So now let's enter into our concepts. What is the first one? Let's go for encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, or polymorphism. Abstraction. Okay. So, okay, before abstraction, you should know inheritance, no? Yes or no? Abstract class ni ela use chestam abstract method ni. If you inherit that class only, you will use. So before everything, let's start with inheritance first. Okay. So first, what is inheritance? So whatever concept you take, say inheritance, say polymorphism, say abstraction, so you will have group of classes there. Till here, we are seeing single class. Relation between the methods or main method and the class variables, only these things. But real life law, we don't have only one class or two classes like that. No, we have group of classes. How to establish relation between the classes, that's where OOPS concepts comes into play. So in that, we are seeing first inheritance. Okay, so I'll take example as inheritance. Example. Okay, this is my class now. So inheritance means a parent class or a class which has methods and variables or attributes, you can say. Those properties are getting inherited by a different class. Inherited means what? Getting access to them. So what if I say I have inherited my father's properties means what? I got right to my father's properties. Yes or no? The same way, when we say a class is inherited from a class, the class from which we are inheriting is known as a parent class. The class which is inheriting the properties is called a child class. Okay? Ante kada. My father's properties means that my father is a parent. That is a parent class. I am inheriting his properties. That means I am the child. Right? So I'm getting access to the properties of the parent. The same way, in classes, the class which gets the properties is the class. The class which gives the access or the property is known as the parent class. That is known as inheritance. So why do we use inheritance basically? Multiple class anni multiple class use cheyadanike chestunam. We use oops for having relation between multiple classes only. But why inheritance specially we are using? So basically in inheritance, we can reuse the things. For suppose in my parent class, I have two integers A and B, or you can say name and age of a person. Okay. And then I have one more class. Okay. Say student. Now student is a person only, no? Okay, student oka person e kada. So student also will have name and age. But is it required for me to declare or define again name age for a student? No need, because already in person I have their details. So what I'll do, I'll just inherit the details from my parent class. I'll take the details and I'll build more details on top of it. So I don't need to again define a separate variable for name and age for the student. I'll just give maybe ID and course for him or her. Okay, so let's see the example. For suppose I have a class called person. Okay. In this class, I have string name and int age. So these two details are there for me for person. Okay. So of course I will initiate them. So whenever you are writing a class, you must be writing the constructor also until unless we go for what? Private attributes. Because for private, we know, of course, I'll explain you, we'll use getter and setter methods there separately. Until unless we don't have a private attribute, we must always declare the constructor to initiate them. Okay. If suppose you're initiating it here only, then it is okay. But we never initiate things inside the class, no? Until unless they are constant or fixed. All the things will send through object only. Yes or no? Earlier also we sent the number how? From the object only, right? The same thing, name and age also I'll send through object only. So for this I'll create a constructor like public person. Okay. So inside this I will have string name, comma, int age. Okay. So inside this, what I'll do this dot name is equals to name. This dot age is equals to age. Okay. This is how we initiate the values. Till here it is okay. Now let's move on to my next class. That is what? Class student. So we know student is also a person. Okay. So we have name and age already for him. Now what extra things I can have for the student? Maybe int or string. Okay. String ID and string course. Okay. These are the things that are specific to student. A person can be a student. Okay. So we can say every student is a person. But every person may not be a student. Avuna kada? They can be a faculty, they can be a non-teaching faculty, they can be a CEO, they can be a CO, anything they can be. Okay. So every student is a person, but every person is not a student. That is where inheritance comes into play. So when I inherit properties from my parent, okay, so I'll have access to all the properties in my parent and my class, that is student. But my parent class will not have the access to my child class properties. Okay, that is not possible. That you have to remember. Of course, right? Our parents will not have any right to our properties, whatever we have bought. But we have access to the properties our parents have bought. Avuna kada. The same way here also it works. It has come from the real life thing only, inheritance. Okay. So now I have created string ID and course. Again, I'll do the same thing as I'll create a constructor public student. So here I'll give. So what things I'll give here? Only ID and course. I should also give name and age. Enduku anedi I'll tell. First, let me create string name, int age, string ID. Yes. String ID and string course. So, why do you think I'm giving name and age also here? So, before knowing it, generally, whenever we create an object, okay, let's move to objects. There you'll understand. Okay. So, now I want to create object. So, to which class I'll create the object? I have two classes here. Yes or no? What is one is student, one is person. So ఏ క్లాస్ కి నేను ఆబ్జెక్ట్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తానండి. I should create for student. Why not for the parent? Exactly. So as I've told before, parent can't access my student class attributes, right? So if I create object for student, with that object I can access parent class also. So one object creation is enough for me to access all the four attributes. Yes or no? With the object of student, I can access ID and course also. At the same time, I can access name and age also. Yes. So I'm saying student is getting inherited from parent. So when I say student is getting inherited from parent, I use a keyword for it. That is called extends. Okay. When we say a class is inherited from a parent class, I should mention that in my class declaration. So I'll say class student extends person. Okay. If I don't put this part, then ఎంత ఇక్కడ రాసినా కూడా this will not even get the access to my parent. Only if I say extends person, just like if I don't put surname of my father beside my name, how will they know that I belong to that family? Yes or no? If I don't have my father's surname in my Aadhaar card or any other cards, they'll not give me access to my father's properties. Yes or no? Because they don't know if I belong to that family or not. The same way, if I have to say a particular class is a child of a parent, I should always say extends keyword. And then you'll put the name of the parent class. That's how you'll get access to that classes, attributes or methods, whatever it is. Okay. So now I have created, now I'll be creating object for my child class, that is student. So I'll say student1. Okay. For suppose is equals to new student of. So here I will send four values together at a time. So first name of the student. Okay. Let's say some Chitra. Okay. And then I'll send age 23. Okay. I'll send their ID. So ID can be maybe T 00023. Okay. Or 0023, whatever it is. So it is a string, right? And then what is the next one? Course. So JFS is a course. Okay. So this is how I'll create the object. Though we don't have name and age in my child class, still I can send those two from the child object only. Why? Because I have access to my parent class no from there. Okay, అక్కడ దాకా బానే ఉంది. Okay ma'am, ఇక్కడ child class ఇచ్చేసారు, that is fine. How do I initiate those two here? Normal ID and yes. So normal ID and course I can directly do here because this dot ID equals to ID and this dot course is equals to course. These two are okay because I have them declared inside my student class only. But name and age are not part of student class. They are part of parent class, that is person. To access any variable or any method inside my parent class, I will use a keyword called super. Okay. So here I have to just initialize them no in my parent class. To call a constructor in my parent class, I'll use a keyword called super of. So I will send whatever details. So ikkada na constructor yokka event andi name and age. So I will send those two, name comma age. This is how I call the constructor of my parent class. Generally constructor eppudu invoke avali when it should be invoked when an object is created, right? But I am not creating object for person class no. Person class create చేయట్లేదు object. So object చేయట్లేదు కాబట్టి ఈ constructor will not get invoked. But if I don't invoke it, my values won't be populated. So to invoke my constructor, what I should do, I should invoke it from my child class constructor. So that I'll do using super. Okay. What is the next thing I can do? Here, super can be used in two ways. To call the constructor, I'll use super of. Okay. But if I want to call any method, suppose I have same methods in both the classes. Okay. Here also I have display. Here also I have display, for example. Okay. Or here I just have a method name called something, say random ga తీసుకుందాము. I have a method public void addition. Okay. Somebody waiting. Okay. Give me a second. Okay. So here I have a method called addition for suppose. So what I'll do, I'll just print some statement system dot out dot println inside addition method of parent class. Okay. So I have the same method here also. Like here also I have the same method. Let me just copy and paste it. Okay. Here I'll say inside addition method of child class. Right. For suppose here only I'm giving the call addition. Okay. Can I do that way? In the, why am I not able to do? What is the error here? See. Saying the method requires a body instead of a semicolon. That means what? It is not going as a call there. It is thinking that it is a separate method again. Okay. So how do you think I have to call the method? From where should I call the method? ఈ addition method ని నేను పిలవాలంటే where will I call it from? So can I do this way? inside my addition method, can I do super dot addition? So what is happening? To call a method inside my parent class. Okay, I can use a keyword called super. Super two ways to use it. One to call the constructor, the other one to call the methods inside my parent class. Okay, when I'm trying to call a method directly like addition, it is throwing me an error. Okay, but if I try to call it using super dot, okay, what will happen? It will go and I can either do it here or do it here. Okay, so what is happening? It is trying to access the method that is inside the parent. But here I'm not creating any object. Generally methods object through a Pilwali. But here I'm not creating any object. What am I doing? I'm just using super. Just like this. This is also an object. Super is also an object. Okay. This refers to the current instance, current calling object. Super refers to the parent class object. Okay. Super will come into existence only when you have the concept of inheritance. Otherwise, it will not be used. Why super? You don't have parent when you don't have inheritance, no? Yes or no? But this means it refers to the current calling object. It can be in any concept. Okay. So this is how you can access. So let me just execute this. Okay. Is there something missing? Spectral opening. The public void addition and then I'm calling super addition. Okay. I haven't called anything, no? I should call first. So student one dot. So what is the So I have initiated them, but I haven't printed them. So either I can print in my main method or I can create a method in my class also. And then I can call the method. Anything just like before I have explained. No? So let's just print it inside my main method only. Okay, no need to call it with the object. Just initiating is fine. So here only I'll do system.out.println. Okay, so what will I do here? Name. Okay, name is, how will I access the name? Tell me. నేను నేమ్ ఏజ్ అవన్నీ రాస్తాను, మీరు నాకు చెప్పండి ఎలా యాక్సెస్ చేయాలి ఈచ్ అట్రిబ్యూట్. సో హియర్ ఐ హ్యావ్ ఏజ్ ప్లస్, ఓకే, I leave space for it, and again what is it, ID plus, I leave space for that how to access it, and then comes course. చెప్పండి. This, where am I now? Where am I? Inside main method లో అసలు this ఉందా మనకి? Then how will I access a class's attributes from the main method? With the object. అంతే కదా, ఎందుకు అంత కన్ఫ్యూజన్ వస్తుంది? Just before we do it, no, op1 dot class num, op2 dot class num, like that only. Here I'll do student1 dot name. Okay, the same thing for age. Student2, sorry, student1 dot age. Okay, do same thing for this also. Student1 dot ID. Okay, what's the other thing? So student1 dot course. Though those are not part of my student class, ID, name and age, I'm still able to access them because I have got the access to them through the inheritance. Okay, so now I have printed student name, age, all these things. But I also have to make a call to this method also. Now I have created one method in my parent class. Do I need to make a call to it? Or should I make a call to this method? In A method ni piluste, both of them will get printed. Child, because from child only I have called the parent class method. Yes or no? So I'll just call the addition from my child. So what is it? Student one dot addition. Okay. Okay. Now let's execute. Okay. So this first thing, name Chitra, age 23, ID TWZ23, course JFS, it got printed because of this system.out.println statement. But these two statements, how did they get printed? Because we call this student one dot addition. So this will go and invoke this one. Okay. So what's the first instruction inside it? Super dot addition. Okay. So it will go and call this method first. Okay, sorry, this method first, addition inside my parent class. So what is inside it? Inside addition method of parent class. That's why your first statement was inside addition method of parent class. Okay, and then the next statement has come, that is system.out.println inside addition method of child class. Okay, so that is how you can use super keyword for either calling an attribute or calling a method, sorry, calling a constructor or calling a method. Constructor అయితే just super off. If you're calling some methods or attributes, you should use super dot. Okay. Same actually, even for attributes also you can use. If suppose I have name here. If suppose I use same attribute here also. Okay. So suppose I'll take string name here also. Okay. But I want to get the name of the attribute inside my parent class, but not inside my person class. So to get that, what I'll do, instead of using, for suppose here I'm printing it. Okay. If I want to access the name of the self class, I'll just directly do it with name. ఇలా చేస్తాను. అదే I want the name from the parent class, I will do super dot name. Just like the method, I call the attribute also the same way. But when do I do it? Same. Whenever I have same named method, same named attributes, I will use super. Okay. So this is how an inheritance concept works. So this kind of inheritance is what? One parent, one child. Is known as a single inheritance. Okay, we have three more kinds, that is multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, hybrid inheritance. In these four, one is not possible. What is it? Multiple inheritance. Not possible means what? Not possible with classes, but it is possible with interfaces. Okay, you will get to know what is an interface in abstraction concept. Then we'll come back and see how you can implement that multiple here. Okay, for now we'll see hierarchical and multi-level. Okay, even hybrid also can be implemented using interface and class together. Okay, so those two we'll see when abstraction is done. We'll come back and see here because you don't know interface yet. Okay, so now we'll see multi-level and hierarchical. So what is multi-level? Multi-level ante parent, child, child of the child or grandchild you can say. So that is known as multi-level inheritance. So for example, let's take ikkade మనం changes చేద్దాం. We have person. Okay, person class is inherited by student. Okay, maybe student class is inherited by some other class. Okay, so or ఇంకొక simple example తీసుకుందాం. This might be confusing for you. maybe. Okay, what inheritance it is? Multi-level, no? Multi-level example. Okay. In this multi-level example, so what I'll do, I have a class. Say, take the same example in your material. What is a class? First, you have animal. Okay. So in this class, I'll have simple method. Okay. Public void some eat is a method. So I will say anim. Okay. System dot out dot println. Animal is eating. Okay. This is my class. Next, I will inherit this class for mammal. Okay. Class mammal extends animal. Okay. So whenever I say class mammal extends animal, automatically access to this class has come to mammal also. Okay. Here I can create one more class. Yes or no? So I can say public void maybe walk. Okay. I'll take some class as this. Then inside this class system.out.println I'll say mammal walks. Okay. So this is like we have access now to two methods. One is walk, one is eat. Okay. Now what I'll do, I will inherit this mammal class. Okay. So maybe class dog extends, what is it? Mammal. Okay. So now I'll create one more. Now I'll create one more method. What did I do? Oh. What is that method? Maybe public void park. Okay. So here also I'll do system.out.println of dog barks. Okay. So what did I do? I am inheriting my animal class to my mammal first. Then inside it, I have given some properties like one method. Again, I'm inheriting that mammal class to the dog class. Now I have created a multi-level hierarchy. Animal to mammal, mammal to dog. So as I have inherited in two steps, okay. Now to which class should I create the object? So if I create for dog, it is sufficient. Why? Because dog has inherited mammal, mammal has inherited animal. So dog has got access to both the classes above it. Yes or no? Just like me, my father, my grandfather. My father got inherited properties inherited from grandfather. I inherited from my father. So automatically I'll get access to my grandfather's properties also. No? The same way, if I create object for only dog, I'll get access to mammal also, animal also. So what should I do here? I'll just create object for dog. Okay. So I'll create dog is equals to new dog. And I don't need to create any what. Sorry. Is it done? Is it correct? Internally? Okay. Is it sufficient? Right or wrong? Think. Is it right or wrong? Or are you having a doubt? Or is it showing an error? What is it saying? What is it saying? So object creation ఎలా చేస్తామండి? You should have a parenthesis here, no? Though we don't have any parameters, ఇప్పటిదాకా parameters ఉన్నాయి కాబట్టి మీకు ఏం కన్ఫ్యూజన్ రాలేదు. Because you are sending some name, you are sending some age, all these things you are doing, so you are not confused. But whenever I am creating a class with no parameters, confusion comes. That's where everybody will get confused. That's why I removed it wantedly. Okay, always the parenthesis will exist. Why? Because as I've already told, a default constructor is there for us in the superclass. Yes or no? The object superclass we have default constructor. So constructor ki call illalante constructor పిలిచేది ఇలాగే కదండి. That is why we create an object that way. ఇప్పటిదాకా మనం అసలు ఆబ్జెక్ట్ అలా ఎందుకు క్రియేట్ చేస్తున్నామో సింటాక్స్ ఉందిలే నేర్చుకుంటున్నాం అంతవరకే. But we haven't actually known why we are creating that way. It is nothing but a call is going to the constructor. How is a constructor? Constructor will have parentheses. It's a method, no? That's why when you create an object, it should be this way. Okay. Then with the dog object, I can call dog.bark. That I know. Okay. I can call dog.bark because it is part of my dog class. That I know. Okay. Now with the dog object only, I can also call dog.eat or what is it? Walk first. Okay. Why? Because it is inside my parent class. So we know with child class object, we can access parent class methods and attributes. Yes. And then comes next. I can also access dog.eat. Why? Though it is in my grandparent class, but still I'm extending it in a multi-level inheritance, no? So I'll get access to my grandparents' things also. So I can access eat also. Eat method is a part of animal. So I can access that also with dog object only. No need of creating object for mammal, no need of creating object for animal. You can directly access all of them with the leaf child. What is leaf child? It is a last child or the class that don't have any other subclasses is called a leaf child. If you create an object for a leaf child, you can access all the methods that are in the higher hierarchy. Okay. Now, if I run this, see, dog barks, mammal walks, animal is eating. Okay, with a single object, you are able to access all the methods in various classes. That is the usage of inheritance. This is called multi-level. And then we'll see hierarchical. So what is hierarchical? Hierarchical ఏంటండి? I told na what is hierarchical. ఏమండి? Hierarchical means one parent, multiple children. ఇక్కడ అండి. Where you are saying? సూపర్ ఎక్కడ యూస్ చేయాలి? ఇక్కడ అంటున్నారా? డాగ్ వాక్స్ అని వస్తుంది అంటున్నారా? ఎందుకు వస్తుంది? నా ప్రింట్ స్టేట్మెంట్ అది కాదు కదండి. This is my print statement. It is not printing according to my object name. Super is used just to call the class. ఇప్పుడు నేను for suppose ఇక్కడ dog ఉందా? Okay. Dog class has bark. If suppose I want to, if I had one more method called bark inside animal, same method ఉంది animal లో నాకు bark అని. If I want to call bark in animal, then I'll do super.bark. Call చేయడానికి మాత్రమే. Object వల్ల it will not change your print statement. Print statement is fixed, no? Super is used to call the objects or get the values. Ante. If suppose I had some value here like say string animal name అనే ఒక ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ఒక వేరియబుల్ ఉందండి నాకు. ఫర్ సపోజ్ I have initiated that variable using constructor. నేను ఇక్కడ ఏం ఎగ్జిక్యూషన్ చూపించలేదు. I'm telling I'm initiating that variable with some constructor, so I will get some value into that animal name. Now I want to access this animal name attribute inside my mammal class. Then I will use super dot, because నాకు animal name అనేది ఎక్కడ ఉంది, నా పేరెంట్ లో ఉంది. బట్ నేను ఎక్కడ యాక్సెస్ చేయడానికి చూస్తున్నాను, నా చైల్డ్ లో. So to access it, to get the value, I will use super dot. Ante. But a value ఏదైతే when I'm giving through object, that value only will come. It will not change according to the class name. Okay. And one more thing. Super is used only to access the class that is just above the child class. ఇప్పుడు నాకు, if I go inside dog and access super dot something, it will only get access to the methods inside mammal class, but not animal class. Super అనేది just above level, just immediate parent, not for the grandparent. That you have to remember. Okay. From dog, if I use super, it will go to mammal only. From mammal, if I use super, it will go to animal. Ante. Dog lo super use chesi, I can't go and access animal ones. Clear? So that is how super is used. It's not for the print statements. It will not change anything there. Only to get the values, access the methods, only super is used. Okay, na? So you practice it, then you will clearly understand the concept. And vintu unte doubts vastay. I don't blame that getting that doubt and all. When you practice, you will actually understand the functionality of that particular keyword. Okay. So what was I actually telling you? Huh? Hierarchical, no? Yeah. So in hierarchical, what happens is, parent is one, there are multiple children. Okay. How is that? I have one parent only, that is class animal. Okay. So maybe I have some method. Let me just copy paste. So same method undani నాకు animal lo. So I'll take this public void eat. This is the method in animal. Now what I do, I will take a class called dog that will extend my animal. This is one class, and one more class I have called cat that will also extend my animal. Okay. This is known as hierarchical inheritance. I have multiple children, like these are siblings. Dog, cat, what are other animals, those are siblings. All will extend same class, that is animal. So this is known as hierarchical inheritance. So one thing you should remember in hierarchical inheritance, if you create object for dog, you can access methods of dog and methods of animal. Antegani you can't access methods of cat, because there is no relation between dog and cat yet. Only dog inherited animal. Okay. Cat inherited animal. Those are two separate things. You can't create object for cat and access dogs. There is no relation. Like ikkada, this is animal, this is dog, this is cat. Dog lo unna methods anni, animal lo unna methods anni, with this object you can access. But with cat also you can access animals methods. But you can't access methods of dog and cat. With the dog's object you can't access cat, with cat's object you can't access dog, because there is no relation between both. That you have to remember. So this is known as hierarchical inheritance. So if we create object for dog, same. Just like single inheritance lo ela chestamo ante. If we create object for cat, cat and animal you can access. That is known as hierarchical. So I'm not going to execute it because there is nothing more, nothing less there. If you know multi-level and if you know single, every other thing is only e concept meeku teliyali that this is not possible. Okay, that is hierarchical. So with this, inheritance is completed. You want to continue, or I think I have a class at 11:30. Okay, fine. We'll see one more concept. Okay. What is the next concept? That is abstraction. Okay. So what is abstraction? అబ్స్ట్రాక్షన్ కాన్సెప్ట్ ఏంటండి? మీకు తెలుసు ఒకసారి విన్నారు కాబట్టి నేను అడుగుతున్నా. అదర్వైజ్ ఐ వుడ్ హ్యావ్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ యూ వాట్ ఈస్ అబ్స్ట్రాక్షన్. బట్ వాట్ ఈస్ అబ్స్ట్రాక్షన్? మీకు తెలిసినంత గుర్తున్నంత చెప్పండి. అబ్స్ట్రాక్షన్ మీన్స్ వాట్? So you're not actually implementing any methods in your classes. Okay? Hiding the implementation or unimplementing the methods. Fine? So you're not giving any implementation for any methods in your class. Such kind of class is known as abstract class. Or the class which contains abstract methods is also known as abstract class. But you can't just say the class that contains only abstract methods is abstract class. Okay? Because abstract class can have both abstract and non-abstract methods. Non-abstract methods are normal methods you create. That means with some implementation inside them. At least one statement inside them. Those are known as non-abstract methods or normal methods. Abstract method means what? You don't have any implementation for the method. Just method declaration will be there. That is known as abstract method. So the class which has abstracts is called abstract class. Then only abstract methods undedi entandi? You don't have any non-abstract methods. You have only abstract methods. That is known as interface. Okay, interface means it will have only abstract methods and it is declared with a keyword interface, not with a keyword class. Normally, in a class, nela declare chestanu class animal ila kada. But if it is an interface, I declare it with the word interface. Okay, that is one difference. And the second difference is in interface, you can't have normal methods. Whatever method you use there must be abstract. That means unimplemented. Okay, but in normal class that is abstract, you use a keyword called abstract. To tell a class is abstract, you use a keyword called abstract and then class. Interface ki interface class and avasharam ledhu. Interface itself is an keyword. Okay, so interface and name of the interface is sufficient. But for abstract class, the name is abstract class animal. Okay, or let's take something like, okay, this is my abstract class. So I'll create. So inside this, we should have abstract methods. So how do I declare an abstract method? Again, same with the keyword abstract. Okay, abstract. Now I'll give what? Class name, or before class name, class name, the method kada. I'm talking about methods. Before method name, what I should give? Return type. What type I should return? I should give it or not? Avuna kada? Int or float or whatever it is. Okay, taking int. Here I'm taking as area. Okay, and then as I told, abstract class is an unimplemented class. I don't give any implementation for it. That's why I'm putting a semicolon at the end saying that is the end of the class declaration. Okay, this kind of classes methods are known as abstract methods. No implementation is there for the method. Normal method aithe ela untundandi, you will have some implementation inside it. If you are having implementation, it will not be an abstract method. That's why it is showing me an error. I shouldn't use abstract keyword. If I'm using abstract keyword, I shouldn't have any implementation, but I should end it there only. Okay. Also, I have one more abstract method. Say you can say perimeter. Okay. So this is also abstract. I'll give it like this. Now I can also have a normal method because I told abstract class means what? The class that have at least one abstract method. That is abstract class. At least one undalannan kani there is no restriction that normal methods can't be existed. So I can have normal method. So say public void. Okay. You can say just display. Okay. What I'll do? System dot out dot println. I'll just say inside normal method. Okay. To differentiate between abstract and normal, I'm just taking it. So in abstract class, you can have both abstract and normal methods, but the rule is at least one abstract method should be there. If you don't give any abstract methods, just to normal method is there, what is the use of abstraction there? Okay. Now to take it forward, abstract class create చేశారు, you have got abstract methods, okay. But why are we having this unimplemented? To implement it in whatever class we create. అవునా కాదా? ఇవి unimplemented ప్రస్తుతానికి. I have to implement them somewhere, wherever I want. So I will give this shape to some shapes వాళ్ళకి ఇచ్చేస్తాను. What they'll do? They'll create class for each shape. For rectangle, for triangle, for circle, for rhombus, trapezium. They can create n number of classes. ఇప్పుడు what? How will they get access to this methods? ఇప్పుడు నాకు shape rectangle. I have taken a shape called rectangle. For rectangle, I have to calculate area, I have to calculate perimeter. But those methods are already here. That means the declarations are already there. Only implementation I should do. But those methods are part of a different class, no? So how will I get that class or get that method? Using inheritance. Avuna kada? From one class, if I want to access methods of other class, what is the principle? That is inheritance only, no? So here I will do class rectangle extends shape. So just don't think that if I'm using abstraction, I don't use any other concept. If I want abstraction to be fulfilled, I have to inherit that class. అప్పుడే కదా నేను ఆ class 1 methods ని I can access. Otherwise, how will I be able to access it? Yes or no? So now I will go inside this and then I can have whatever values here. What values I'll have for a rectangle? Int length. Okay. And then int width. These are the two values I have for a what? Shape that is rectangle. So I will of course initiate them using constructor. Okay. I'll give int length comma int width. Then what I'll do inside this, I will initiate the values. This dot length is equals to length and this dot width is equals to width. Initiation is done. Now, what is my next step? I have to implement the methods area and perimeter. So the method name is same, no? So I'll take the same method. Okay. Right? I'll take int area. But ఇక్కడ నేను int area అని ఇలా వదిలేయచ్చా? Can I do it like this? Why? Okay, fine. You're saying access modifier. Let's take public. Okay. Is it sufficient? Return type is int. Have given, no? This is the name of the method. What is missing there? ఏంటండి? అవును, అబ్స్ట్రాక్ట్ మెథడ్. అబ్స్ట్రాక్ట్ మెథడ్ ని నేను ఇక్కడ ఏం చేస్తున్నాను? ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేస్తున్నాను. సో ఐ డోంట్ నీడ్ టు యూజ్ ద కీవర్డ్ అబ్స్ట్రాక్ట్ అగైన్. Here I have to give the values. Yes or no? This is a non-parameterized area, non-parameterized perimeter. But area and perimeter, do I calculate that way without a parameter? No, right? So here I'll give the parameters int length, comma, int width. But if I give it here, but I don't have that here. Abstraction enti existing method I'll implement. I don't create a separate method. So my existing method also should be int length and int width. Okay. The same thing for perimeter also. Int length, comma, int width. Though I don't initiate them there, but the way of declaring should be same as the way of usage. ఇక్కడ నాకు parameters లేకపోతే even in my implementation part also I should not have parameters. But as I have given int here, it is expecting something to be there in the parameters. Otherwise, how will I return anything? Okay. So that's why here I have length and width for both area and parameters. So I am implementing the same thing as length and width here. Okay. Now let's return. So what is area for a rectangle? 2 times of length plus width. Okay. And one more thing to notice. Ikkada nenu public ichchanu. Ikkada I haven't given anything. Okay. So one thing is, whenever you are implementing an abstract method, either you can use the same access modifier that is present in the abstract method, or you can use something that is above its level. Above means what? If I have, for suppose I have private here or protected here. Okay. Here also I should use protected. Here also I should use protected or public. But I can't use the one that is below it. That is what? Private. Order తెలుసు కదా, first private వస్తుంది, protected, default, then comes public. Okay. So public ante everything can access. Default means only within the package and the subclasses. Protected means, sorry, default means even outside the package but only subclasses. Protected means only within the package. ఇప్పుడు నా ప్యాకేజ్ com.java బేసిక్ ఉంది కదా, అందులో ఏ క్లాసెస్ ఉన్నాయో అవన్నీ నాకు ఈ మెథడ్ ని దే కెన్ యాక్సెస్. ఓకే. ప్రైవేట్ మీన్స్ ఓన్లీ విత్ ఇన్ ద క్లాస్. దట్ మీన్స్ if I declare this abstract private int, only within my that class only I can access. I can't use it anywhere else. That's why you can't take abstract as private anytime. Why? Because abstract method is something that we implement in our other classes, no? So if I take it private, how can I use it in other classes? That will give the restriction for me. That's why you can either take protected or public or default there. But ఇక్కడ నేను ఏమి ఇవ్వలేదు కాబట్టి ఏమొచ్చి ఉంటుందండి? It is a default. So as it is default, I can use public here because it is above its level. That I can use, or here I can just leave it as the normal one only without giving anything. But I can't use private or protected here. That is below its level. Okay. Either use the same thing or use the one that is above its level. So to avoid this confusion, what we do is, whatever it is in the method, no, here we'll do the same thing here. So we can also take public here. There also I'll take public. Okay. Here also I'll take public. There also I'll take public. Okay, then you won't get any confusion. ఒకవేళ ఇక్కడ ఏం తీసుకోదంటే ఇక్కడ కూడా ఏం తీసుకోకండి. As simple as it is. Okay, so I will also take public int perimeter. Okay, so here also I'll have int length comma int width. Then I will return what? Length into width. That is what. Okay, did I do reverse? Okay, wait. I think this is the formula for perimeter, no? This perimeter, this is area. To width. Okay. So this is how I'll implement the concept of abstraction. So I can take any classes now. Now I can take one more class called square. What I'll do? Class square extends shape. In that I'll take only one parameter. What is it? Int side. Because square all sides are equal, no? I don't need length, width and all. So in square, I'll take only one parameter, that is int side. There in the object, in the constructor, I'll just do public square of int side. So I'll get only one value for it. Then the methods will be again. Okay, here tell me one thing. Can I do square and can I use the area? The same methods can I use? Is it possible or not? ఎందుకు class is separate, but that class also I'm extending from abstract class, that is shape only. What kind of inheritance there I'm doing? Hierarchical inheritance. Dog from same class, cat class. Here also rectangle from same shape class, square from same shape class. Yes or no? But ikkada area ki what are the parameters? But in square what are the parameters for area? So it changes. Yes or no? So there you can't do it that way. Okay. So abstraction means whenever you have an unimplemented methods, you take a one more class and then you'll implement those methods. Okay. So the class which implements the abstract methods is known as a concrete class. Okay. Here my rectangle class is known as a concrete class and shape is known as a abstract class. Whenever there is an abstract class, to get the phenomena of abstraction, you must have a concrete class. Without concrete class, how can I say abstraction is implemented? Yes or no? So, combination of abstract class and concrete class together will give us the phenomena of abstraction. Okay. Ippudu, if I have only abstract methods, that is known as interface. So in this example only what I'll do, just change it as interface shape. Okay, then I shouldn't have this method there. See here itself it is showing an error for me. As soon as I change it to interface, ikkade chupistundi. See what error? Abstract methods do not specify a body. Because as interface is expecting only abstract methods, it is considering display also abstract. But display is having a body. So that's why it is saying abstract methods do not specify a body. That's why either remove the body or remove the method. Then it will become a interface. Only abstract methods will be there. That is called an interface. Ippudu interface ni, how will I take the properties of an interface? Not like the class. For class, I'll extend it. But when I want to get the properties of an interface, I will use a keyword called implements, not extends. Okay, same functionality. To get the access to my parent class, I'll use extends if it is a class. If it is an interface, I'll use implements. The other things remains the same. Okay, is it clear? So that is how I'll use abstraction concept. So I can achieve it either by using inheritance or either by using interface or either by using abstract class. Okay, so till here it is clear. So the other concepts we'll see later because I have a class in 15 minutes again. So we are left with polymorphism and encapsulation. So in the afternoon class, I'll clear it off for you. And also I'll take exception handling there. Okay. కావాలంటే కొంచెం ఎక్స్ట్రా స్టే చేసి అయినా you just listen to it. Because we don't have much time, no? That's why I'm asking you. Okay. So this one I will upload in your module